Hey everybody, Mark here from 8 Minute Acts, and I'm excited about today's video. It is 100% based on your comments. So my 8 classic rock riffs that must be played on a 12 string received about 500 comments, and many of those comments were suggestions as to songs that I should have put on the list, songs that you thought that absolutely, positively should have made the list. So I went through the list, all 500 comments, and today I'm going to do a countdown of the songs that got the most comments or that were mentioned the most time in the comments. So one thing we do need to do before we get started is we need to address the elephant in the room. There is no way that I can make another 12-string video with this guitar. I'm very appreciative to the student that let me borrow it, but it is a beast to play. It's constantly having intonation issues, and I need to get a 12-string guitar. Obviously, with times being like they are, and there's no gigs right now, I'm not gigging at all, obviously, things are a little bit tight, and I was trying to figure out what I could do to get a 12-string guitar. Then it struck me, I can sell my soul. I figure Robert Johnson became one of the greatest guitar players of all time by selling his soul, so I should at least be able to get a 12-string guitar for my soul. So I went down to my local Crossroads and I waited for the devil, and he finally came. Unfortunately, he was not interested in my soul. I have mixed feelings about it. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate, but anyway, the devil didn't want my soul. So I was walking back, and you wouldn't believe who drove by in a Winnebago. Don Henley, my old nemesis, Don Henley. Those of you who have seen my other 12-string video know that Don Henley roughed me up at the end of it about a copyright claim, and he was more than willing to bargain with me for my soul. So we did a little bit of bargaining. He actually wanted to originally give me one of Don Felder's old used 12 strings that he didn't even own, but eventually we came to an agreement, and I found myself with a new 12 string, and Don Henley has my soul. So here's my new 12 string. Well, here she is. Here's my new 12 string. It's an Ibanez, and I just got it yesterday, and it plays pretty well. I mean, it's not a high-end guitar by any means, but stays in tune, has a nice bright sound, and I'm happy with it so far. And I may do a full review of it eventually, but I want to get on with this video. Before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. I really do appreciate it, and please ring the bell too so you get notified when I upload a video. And if you dig the video today, please hit the like button as well. All the songs here are pretty easy to play, so if you're a beginner, there's a bunch of songs here that you guys probably can learn relatively easily. If you do want to learn a song on here and you're having trouble with it, please don't hesitate to contact me, leave a comment below, or shoot me an email. I'll put my email below as well. I respond to every comment and every email. So let's jump right into it. So number 6 on the list is Mama, I'm Coming Home by Ozzy. It was released on September 17th, 1991. It was on the No More Tears album, and I always thought that the song was about Sharon Osbourne, but apparently I'm wrong, because Lemmy from Motorhead was brought in to write lyrics for the album, and Lemmy actually wrote the lyrics to this song. So I assume if Lemmy wrote the lyrics, the song is not about Sharon. The song is actually recorded a half step down. I'm going to do it in standard tuning. It's just easier to do all the songs in standard. I figure if you guys are playing along, you're not going to want to keep tuning your guitar down and back up and things like that. So we're going to keep everything in standard tuning. Okay, so next, coming in with the 5th most mentions, is Ticket to Ride by the Beatles. The Beatles were mentioned throughout. There were tons of comments about the Beatles, and Ticket to Ride was the song that most people pointed out. I thought about You Can't Do That. There are a couple other there's a ton of great Beatles songs with a 12 string, but Ticket to Ride got the most comments, so I'm going to stick to the plan. There are several stories about where the lyrics to the song came from. John claims that it came from cards that the prostitutes in Hamburg used to carry, stating that they had a clean bill of health. So don't know how much truth there is in that. John was always a prankster, but I'm going to go with that, and here's Ticket to Ride. Okay, so coming in at number 4 is Under the Milky Way by The Church. It was released on February 15th, 1988, and I really went down the rabbit hole here. So I read that the song was voted the 33rd most Australian song of all time. So you guys that have watched my other videos know that I love lists. So I had to find out what the #1 most Australian song of all time. And it was a song called K-San by the Australian pub rock band Cold Chisel. I'd never heard of them. The song's pretty cool, but and it beat out Down Under by Men at Work by just a little bit. So K-San by Cold Chisel was the #1 most Australian song of all time, and number 33 was Under the Milky Way by The Church. Okay, so coming at number 3 is Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds. The song was originally written by Pete Seeger. The Byrds released their version on October 5th, 1965. And it's a all-time classic 12-string riff. If you're wondering why I didn't do Tambourine Man, please check out my video, The Riff That Made the 12-String Famous. So many people had written in about Mr. Tambourine Man that it actually got its own video. But Turn, Turn, Turn was a close second when it came to votes for Byrds tunes. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play Roger McGuinn's modified version for one guitar. The song actually has 3 guitars in it, and they're all kind of interlaced over each other, but Roger McGuinn does a version with a single guitar, and it pretty much fills it up, and it sounds really good, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so the song with the second most comments, or the second most mentions, was Tangerine by Led Zeppelin. It was originally on Led Zeppelin 3, which was released on October 5th, 1970. And it's the only song here that's from the 70s. And the song was originally written and recorded by the Yardbirds. Page was in the Yardbirds when he wrote it. And this one has 2 guitars on it. It actually has a 6-string and a 12-string guitar, and Jimmy mixes them really close together, so it's got a really nice tight sound to it. But again, it's another example of a great Led Zeppelin production. The song was recorded in standard tuning, but it's slower on the record. It's not all the way a half step down. It sits somewhere in between. It's actually a little bit closer to standard tuning. I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I actually kind of figured it out, and it's around A400 hertz, so it's about 40 cycles below traditional A440, but so if you want to get it exactly right, again, I'm going to play it in standard pitch here. So one other thing that I found out about the song is that it's one of only 2 Led Zeppelin songs with lyrics where the songwriting credit is given solely to Jimmy Page. So for those of you like me that like facts out there, that's a cool one. So let's do Tangerine. So coming in at #1, the song that got by far the most comments, the most mentions, was Free Fallin' by Tom Petty. The song was originally on the Full Moon Fever album, which was released on April 24th, 1989. And this is actually 3 guitars. There is a 6-string guitar that is capoed on the 1st fret. There is a 12-string guitar, the part that I'm going to play, that's capoed on the 3rd fret. And then there's another guitar on there. It sounds like it might be a Nashville tuning, or I can't figure out exactly what it is, but it sounds like a higher pitched guitar. But there are definitely 3 guitars going on in that song. So a couple other songs that were on the list I just want to give you. There are some other songs that received more than one mention. I Stay Away by Alice in Chains. I love that song. That is a great riff. And You and I by Yes. Lucky Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. As Tears Go by the Stones. And Suicide Note Part 1 also received, I think, 3, maybe 4 mentions as well. So anyway, that's all I've got. Please hit the like button if you like the video. And again, please support the channel by subscribing and ringing the bell. And I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.